Hello everybody, this is Danny from Deep South Homestead. What we're doing here today is, if you can look in the background here, you see this sugar cane? This sugar cane was cut down to the ground a month ago for winter time. Our temperatures fluctuate so much here in the south that you see it's already up a foot tall again. We've had temperatures in the high 70s and right at 80 degrees, and now this coming week we've got temperatures that's going to plunge into the low 20s with the possibility of sleet and snow flurries, snow flurries. So we've got to cut this again. This is one of the reasons that we can't leave our homestead to go places, is because our weather fluctuates so much that these kind of things happen, and if we let it freeze on top of this right here, we lose our whole patch of sugar cane. So we had a torrential rain this past week, about 9 inches in 3 days, and that has added to the growth of this. So what we're going to have to do today is we're going to have to cut all this stuff down below the surface again in hopes that we'll be able to salvage it for this coming spring. We're also going to show you some clips about the torrential rains that we have here and some of the things that you need to watch out for if you're a beginning homesteader on a homestead. We're trying to kind of get this series up and going of bringing in a few things for beginning homesteaders. We're going to show you a few of these clips of what to look for on a homestead after you've had major storms and torrential rains. If y'all will listen in the background, you'll also hear birds. You hear those birds making noises? These are the kind of birds around here that signify spring is almost here. So here we are in the middle of winter and these birds are already hollering. It's amazing. These birds everywhere. That's what I'm talking about. The weather is so screwed up. Okay, y'all, what you're looking at here is one of the pans up this holler here. You can see the erosion that we've had, how much dirt has washed down through this holler here. It brought limbs and sticks and stuff like that all the way from the main road up there down through this holler in this 9-inch rain we had, and it piled it up against our fence down here. It almost pushed the fence over because the water was like 2 foot deep in this holler and about 50 feet wide. And it completely covered our electric fence up with debris. We got out early this morning. It's one of the things that you have to check after a major storm like that, is check your fences. Okay, on this particular fence here, you can see where the water has pushed the dirt up here. It just piled it up everywhere. The electric wire is completely covered up there with leaves and sticks and stuff. We're gonna have to get in there and clean that out and possibly lift the electric wire up now because the ground level has raised up so high. And you can see the water still running down through the holler here. If you pan around here, you can see that's just a natural running stream down through here, and how much white sand there are where it's just washed it off the tops of these hills everywhere. The center fence is done collapsed that you're looking at right there. It's completely gone. Okay, you can see this fence, the water come down here so heavy it actually bent the posts over it. The wire is completely under the dirt now. I don't know that we'll ever get that out without a track hoe coming in here doing it. But it just filled it in with about 2 foot of dirt on top of it out there in the middle and just pushed it completely down. Okay, this is the back of our fence for a hog pen here, and you can see how it has cut the bank down and washed it off. It's washed down probably a foot and a half deep. Come down the fence. This is some of the things we talk about. You have to go around and check all your fences. And this one here up in front of us here, it's actually bowed in about 2 foot. I've got to come here. We've got to clean all this debris out now because it's against the electric wire. The electric wire is not going to work as long as that fence is up against it. And you can see our gravel pit. It's standing level full of water. Won't be getting no gravel out of it for a while. You can see the leaves on top of the ground out here where it's come down through that hollow there. And I mean, it was probably a 15, 20 foot wide stream of water coming down through here. This is another one of the places here we had problem with erosion. We went to go going back and fixing. You can see how it washed gullies all in our hillside here. We had it all smooth. We had grass planted on it, but when you get a rain like that, the grass won't hold it. It just washed all the sand off of it everywhere, almost down to our blueberry trees here. Which means now we got more work to do on the homestead. Just gonna have to try to get it fixed is all I know to do. One of the problems you have living on lands that's hilly, you can see in here that we have a hill coming down right here. This is a big hill here. We have a holler coming in here, and then over here on this side is another hill and a holler coming in there. So we have two hollers coming in here together like this, running on top. This is our blueberries all down in here. All that water filters across these blueberries and then runs from there off down into that holler. Way off in the bottom down here, where you see off down in here, there's a hollow down in here where we were just at with Delilah in there, and that's where all that water ends up going off of these hills. And as sandy as this soil is, when you get 9 inches of rain in a couple of days, we have major erosion. It doesn't matter how much grass you have out, it still washes, and then we have to go back and start fixing things. Okay, what we're looking at here is our hugel bed. This hugel bed is probably 150 feet long. The reason we put it there is we had massive erosion taking place right down through the center of this here, because this is actually the part of a holler also coming through our yard, and it went off down behind the pots, all down in through there was a lot of erosion. Gullies and everything was starting to form, so we put the hugel bed in. It comes all the way from down here and runs all the way up to there, and then we have all of our container pots in here behind it right there, then the lighter pile. And during this 9-inch rainstorm we had no erosion problem whatsoever. The hugel bed was laid off with a transit, so it drains perfectly. It worked out beautiful. And we've also got fruit trees planted on the back side of it, like right in here. There's a fruit tree right there that you can see. There's other fruit trees down it, all further down. It's kind of like a swale setup. We have more fruit trees. They're kind of small right now because we're waiting on them to grow up actually. There's an apple tree right here, and then there's apricot trees like right in here, and there's another one right over here you'll see. They're kind of small on the back side of it, but we're using it kind of like the swale system.
After a storm, we pile the limbs up that fall out of the trees, the dead limbs, and we use those for kindling.
We're looking up the hill here. Now this is uphill. I know on the camera you can't really tell it because we're at the bottom of the hill looking up, but this is actually a pretty steep driveway we have. And then a major rain like that, the water just gushes down through it and it washes all these ditches in here, and it actually piles the dirt up down here in front of our house into this huge, it looks like a huge sand bed, and it makes it's just difficult. What we got to do now is we got to start bringing more gravel in, redoing our roads after these major rains.
The big carrots here on this end should winter the freeze pretty well. We're a little worried about these on this end. Not sure if we're going to try to hoop it or not. I think we're going to just see if they make it through a freeze. It's only 2 or 3 days. We'll see how they do. But I'm fixing to pull a carrot or two here for lunch with my lettuce and peppers. Isn't that nice? Wow, and that's some beautiful carrots. And that one turned a little weird, but it's still a good sized carrot. And that should do for today. I still have one romaine lettuce that is growing. I'm going to take most of the leaves off this because if it freezes, it may not make it. We cover all our faucets so that they don't freeze. We've added wood to the woodshed. We'll gather some of this and put it on the porch.